so far as they're concerned, we not only have to talk about the 10 points, we have to implement the 10 points. Well, we could as easily say, hey, you have to implement our 15 points, or we're not going to talk to you. But they see us as being the ones who want to have negotiations right now, and they're going to keep playing that politically, saying, well, the United States caved to global pressure, the United States caved in because of the disruption of the energy market and so forth. So again, they're coming at this from a perspective that they're the ones with leverage, not us.
All right, quick break, right back more with James Robbins, former assistant to Defense Secretary Rumsfeld. For 5 years, it's a veteran-owned company. They share your values, they share my values, and if you want to know what their North Star is, what they care about the most, well, they donated over $500,000 to America's Warrior Partnership, which is a great organization. They're on the front lines of preventing suicide. Pure Talk's also creating American jobs. It's the only workforce. It'd be a lot cheaper to send jobs overseas like other companies do, but they are committed to delivering the best experience possible for their customers. And you're going to love Pure Talk. You'll love this service. They use the same cell towers, same 5G network as the big carriers, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. You get the same exact service, and the average family saves over $1,000 a year. That's real money in your pocket. You get the same service, and you're doing business with a company that shares your values. Anyway, make the switch. It's simple, it's fast, it's easy. You dial pound 250 on your cell. You say the keyword save now. Make the switch to Pure Talk, pound 250, keyword save now, and make the switch to my wireless company, America's wireless company, Pure Talk.
Sean Hannity, the busiest man in media, right here to Smile or TMJExperts.com. On the Salem Podcast Network.
Prayers for the post of the soul Andrew, passed away 14 years. It's good to
the big headliners, obviously that's a big to-do, everybody knows who they are, but there are a lot of really awesome bands that are playing the other sets leading up to the big ones. What are some of the ones that you're looking to other than Jack White that's like a must-see?
Well, I would say if you've never seen Turnstile.
Buying a critical mineral that's needed for the U.S. and its economy to survive. That's why I want you to do my part.
reverse course of anxiety from trying to reconcile God's plan with human free will. Maggie is praying for Sister Joan, who's experiencing poor kidney and other organ functioning. Finally, Fabiana is praying for financial freedom and for healing for cancer for her sister.
Lawrence, let them all up. A lot of different intentions, for sure. And unite yours. If you don't get through on the phone lines, I know they fill up. Nick actually takes your prayer intentions on our X platform. It's a great way to send them. He puts his eyes on them every day, and we will pray for you. It's at Drew Mariani Show. Just send that post to at Drew Mariani Show. You can follow me at Drew Mariani as well.
We just bring it to you first with the facts, then the opinions. A70, the answer. Alex Marlow doesn't like the roster.
We've accomplished a lot in the first year and a quarter of Trump's administration, probably far beyond most of our expectations. When I look at the slate of the Democrats, just choose their people, what they're arguing for, they have zero charisma, they have zero ideas of any value.
The Alex Marlow Show, weekdays at 9.
Only one you should buy from 6 Hour. Buy American, made in New Hampshire, 6hour.com. Just go to 6hour.com/Hannity. You will get a discount, and you'll find a dealer near you. Dealer near you.
Now traffic on the Patriot AM 1150.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
In Long Beach on the 405 northbound before I get Lakewood Boulevard, got a stalled semi. It is blocking the middle lane. On the 5 southbound before the 110 in Elysian Park, trying to clear a stall into that center divider area. And it looks like we've got some good news in South LA. I see traffic move now. We had a sig alert. Looks like they're clearing it. 110 southbound between 105 to El Segundo. Looks like all lanes are just about to be open.
Hi, I'm Kyle from Blindster.com. If you price custom blinds at a retail store, you know how expensive they can be. At Blindster, we do things differently. You measure at home, install yourself, and save big on custom blinds. Plus, we guarantee they'll fit. Blindster.com.
It's tax season, and by now, I know we're all a bit tired of numbers, but here's an important one you need to hear. $16 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity theft. Here's another. 1 in 4 honest, hardworking, tax-paying Americans has been a victim of identity theft. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second for your personal information and alerts you to threats you can easily miss on your own. If your identity is stolen, LifeLock's U.S.-based restoration specialist will fix it back by another good number, the $1 Million Protection Package. In fact, restoration is guaranteed or your money back. Don't face identity theft and financial losses alone. There's strength in numbers with LifeLock Identity Theft Protection for tax season and beyond. Join now and save up to 40% your first year with the promo code Jesse. Call 1-800-LifeLock or go to lifelock.com. Use promo code Jesse for 40% off. Terms apply.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it so nice. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free, and you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Call Lear Capital for your free gold investment kit. 800-225-8100.
James Robbins is with us, former Special Assistant to Defense Secretary Rumsfeld and the Institute of World Politics Dean. How is this going to end? I mean, and how's it going to end with our relationship with NATO countries, more specifically Spain, France? You know, we have Keir Starmer, Neville Chamberlain Starmer, blaming the U.S. and Putin for sky-high oil prices. They have been utterly, completely missing in action, useless. And I've got to imagine that NATO, as we know it, will not look anything like it does today when this is said and done. Am I wrong?
No, you're absolutely right. The Europeans didn't read the room. I mean, it's one thing to say that NATO is not going to get involved in this as an entity because it's out of area and it's not really a NATO thing. Okay, fine, they can argue that. Even though Turkey, a NATO member, was attacked, with Iranian missiles. That's fine. Let's say that. But then to say that the United States can't use bases, that the United States can't have overflight rights, in other words, impeding what we want to do. So it's not just they're not cooperating, they're actually getting in the way. Remember that the British even tried to make us not use Diego Garcia for staging our bombers. So they've really screwed up politically because there's already talk, from Trump and people in the Republican Party saying we don't need this much of a commitment to NATO, and they played right into this hinting at the kind of maps that we've seen before.
I want to finish. I become a husband and father of my wife and son needs.
Thank you. Thanks for calling. I'm certainly going to pray that you kill the test. All right. Pray for that. And let's pray for your safety. It's got to be terrifying to be a wife of somebody who serves that does what you do. So I pray for the test for SWAT, for detectives, but I entrust this man to you and to your mercy. Protect him, may your merciful rays envelop him and illuminate him in the days ahead. I pray for all those who are our first responders, those involved in law enforcement, those who serve in our military, Lord. And I give to you all those united to me. Unite with me now in prayer. You know our physical needs, our spiritual needs, the tests, the finances, all the issues that weigh on us, the relationships, the children, whatever it may be, Lord. And I just ask that on this eve of this great feast of mercy that's rapidly approaching, that you open those floodgates of mercy early. You hear these prayers and that you allow many result of these prayers. So I pray in thanksgiving as I conclude this prayer. Eternal Father, I offer you the body, blood, soul, and divinity of your dearly beloved Son, our Lord Jesus Christ,
in atonement for our sins and those of the whole
for
world.
the sake of his sorrowful passion.
Are weak as a continent, they're weak as individual countries. Yeah, some of them have nuclear weapons, but I'm not sure that the former Soviet Union or Vladimir Putin or Russia are particularly afraid of any country in Western Europe at this particular point in time. They've also made the other big mistake of becoming reliant on energy, the lifeblood of every nation's economy, as evidence. If you remember back in the day, then Chancellor Merkel, was handed a white flag of surrender by Donald Trump after making a multi-billion-dollar deal for energy with. And the whole purpose, or one of the larger purposes of NATO, has been to protect Europe from the threat of Russia. I mean, how stupid was she at the time?
Oh, very stupid. The president in his first term, when he was trying to have the liquefied natural gas shipped to Germany, and they decided to go with Russia, and then we saw what happened in Ukraine. The president's absolutely right, where the Europeans should be buying their energy from the Western Hemisphere, from the U.S., and maybe also from Canada, and not buy it from people they can't rely on like Russia, or state sponsors of terror like Iran. Energy is one of our biggest national assets in terms of shaping the global environment. And President Trump is smart enough, wise enough to recognize that we need to, as he said, drill baby drill, but just push energy out as an instrument of national policy and strategy, then we can gain a lot more influence around the world. And countries should recognize that the U.S. is a great place to get energy. You can get all you want, and you don't have to deal with these other people. So why Merkel did that, I mean, who knows? I mean, it was just one of the worst strategic moves ever.
We appreciate you being with us, James Robbins. Come back often. Voice of Reason, 800-941-SEAN if you want to be a part of the program.
Praise
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Divine Mercy Sunday this weekend. Huge day. If you missed any of the Q&A I had answering them.
President Trump says American warships and troops will remain around Iran until a real agreement to end the war is reached. Our correspondent Greg Clemson reports.
With a 14-day ceasefire in place, the president said U.S. armed forces won't be returning home immediately. Writing on social media, he said America's military presence will remain until both sides reach a real agreement. A deal, he said, that would prevent Iran from building nuclear weapons and keep the Strait of Hormuz open. The president went on to warn that if the U.S. and Iran cannot permanently end the war, then in his words, the shooting starts bigger and better than before. Greg Clugston, Washington.
California is the fourth most expensive state to raise a child. That's according to new analysis from researchers at Money Tree. The average 18-year cost is $312,300. Now here's National Weather Service meteorologist Andrew Rourke with your answer weather forecast.
The clouds will be hanging on deep for the afternoon, so look for a cloudy day, high temperatures up in the 70s. Overnight, a little front's going to go by through and drop a little bit of rain. Really not looking for much, enough to wet the streets, maybe get a little puddles going on. Then heading into your weekend, looks kind of wet actually. Saturday, maybe not so much, but Saturday night, cold front's going to go through. Not going to have this rain, maybe to bring you a thunderstorm.
71 LA, 72 in Anaheim. Larry Marino on the answer with breaking news and talk you can trust.
It's Tanya King, the self-employed mortgage specialist at Right Choice Mortgage. Are you to
sick of hearing those low-rate ads you can't get? Tired of nebulous
Role and the success or failure of a deal.
What we really need to see is the United States going to restrain the Israelis in Lebanon. Is this really a serious talk? I think that'll be clear within the first 24 hours, because if the Trump administration doesn't back away from its maximalist demands that got us into this conflict in the first place, then I think we're going to see a renewed fighting.
Representatives from Israel and Lebanon will hold talks in Washington.
before most of those others.
It doesn't work. We're going to listen to this bullshit.
You know how expensive they can be. As long as we do things different.
Very slight here in LA County. The average price of a gallon of regular fell 2 cents overnight. We talked about it with oil industry expert Andy Lipow.
Well, I think that in the near term we could see gasoline prices drop another 5 cents a gallon, which is really a paltry amount given that gasoline prices are up about 40% since the end of February. The oil market is really focused on the negotiations weekend between the United States to more durable ceasefire, or is it just the start of negotiations going forward?
He says diesel prices are falling much faster than gas prices, which should help truck drivers. The Artemis 2 moon mission crew is heading back to Earth just about 3.5 hours to splashdown. Here's CBS News Space consultant Bill Harwood.
The Earth's gravity is pulling them in faster and faster from the moon. By the time they get to the top of the discernible atmosphere, about 75 miles up, they'll be moving at 24,000 miles per hour. That's almost 7 miles per second.
Splashdown is scheduled for 5:07 in the ocean off the coast of for us to see from the shoreline. But they have altered the departure paths out of San Diego International Airport. So the airport actually issued an advisory to folks in Pacific Beach, Point Loma, and La Jolla, saying expect some increased noise just for a little while this all goes on. There is a watch party at the Columbia Memorial this morning before astronaut Jose Hernandez about what it's like to see Earth from space.
I remember the first time I saw I guess you could call it a sunrise over the Earth's and over the Earth. We were coming over from the dark side, and the sun was coming up. And I was like a tourist, right? I want to watch the sunrise. So I'm with my coffee, watching that sunrise, and then the sun hits the Earth at just the right angle, Margaret and Brian, and you see the thickness of the atmosphere. Oh wow! And let me tell you, it's scary thing. Yeah. I think that's the only thing that's keeping us alive. You know, Brian, I became an instant environmentalist.
Oh, I bet.
I said, we got to take care of Mother Earth.
Hernandez was an astronaut on the Space Shuttle Discovery mission to the International Space Station back in 2009. Well, the first phase the Artemis 2 crew will see upon their return to Earth will be that of a U.S. Navy sailor from Laguna Beach. Lieutenant Commander Jesse Long leads the 4-vet Navy medical team that will open the Orion capsule and then safely get the space crew out and do a medical checkup. Long is a board-certified emergency medicine doctor by trade and was designated by the Navy as an undersea medical officer in 2024. He says it's the honor of a lifetime to stand here today ready to provide the absolute best care to the Artemis 2 crew. The latest consumer price index shows inflation is rising thanks to the war in Iran. Consumer prices rose 3.3% from last year. There was a record spike in gas prices, as we all know. Grocery prices were down a little bit, but produce went up. We talked about it with Virginia Tech economics professor Dr. David Peary. He tells us there's some good news.
The 3.3 year-on-year increase that we've seen in CPI is almost exclusively due to what we now know is gripping the world, which is oil prices and the effects of the war. The fact that core inflation, so this is without food prices, without energy, have stayed contained is really good news.
The White House is right.
Well, it's worse if it's possible. It is worse than dealing with insurance companies in the healthcare industry and, trying to get approval for, a medication that your doctor prescribed. It's insane. Now, I've got an answer, and I've met these people, and I've watched the software, AI-generated software they've created. It is mind-numbing, and they want you to get back to running your business and simplify the process. Make sure that you know what is covered and not covered because of all the gobbledygook, fine print that is in any insurance policy that nobody ever reads. And then you find out after something happens, oh, I'm not covered. I thought I was covered. You told me I was covered.
built over the holy sites, but the
fronts of resistance waiting to see the outcome of the talks in Pakistan, as Iranian officials and U.S. officials appear to be discussing a different set of terms. Iraq's foreign minister spoke yesterday about the talks. We discussed the upcoming negotiation process in Pakistan, and we support and encourage this process. And we hope that the negotiation process
what's up, Tony?
which are peace and security in the region. One issue that appears to be a sticking point is whether or not Israel will still be able to strike Hezbollah, Iran's largest proxy base in Lebanon. Overnight, the Israelis struck a variety of launching positions in southern Lebanon, and shortly after, Hezbollah launched a rocket that triggered sirens in Tel Aviv.
I will tell you right now, we're not going to allow them to collect tolls. If we do, it's a massive loss for President Trump. I don't think he's going to give away all the leverage he has. I believe he will organize the forcing of the strait and opening it like Ronald Reagan did in the late 1980s when they last pulled the stunt of terrorizing the strait. You cannot allow international law and freedom of navigation through narrow waterways to be trumped by littoral states that want to make some money. And there are a lot of them all around the world. And cannot be allowed to happen, won't be allowed to happen. The Iranians, not surprisingly, acting like pirates. Vice President Vance on the tarmac, a little bit of a gaggle, had this to say about the Iranians. Cut number 3.
We're looking forward to the negotiation. I think it's going to be positive. We'll foresee, as the President of the United States said, if the Iranians are willing to negotiate in good faith, we're certainly willing to extend the open hand. If they're going to try to play us, then they're going to find that the negotiating team is not that receptive. So we're trying to have a positive negotiation. The President gave us some pretty clear guidelines, and we're going to see. So I hope you guys have a safe flight. I'll certainly take some questions later on, but for now, let's get on the plane and hit the road. Thank you all.
Let's get on the plane and go to sleep. I think that's what he's going to do. You know, I always wonder, Jay, he's got 3 small kids, whether or not flying to Pakistan is a good thing. I mean, for a dad who really would like to sleep in on a weekend, I think that might be the case, and there's not going to be that much to talk about with these people. I'm in the Relief Factor studio. Don't forget to take your Relief Factor. I took it in hour number 1. I remind you in hour 2 and 3. Works with your body's anti-inflammatory system. You take it once a day after you've been on it for a few weeks, and it works. Gets rid of those minor aches and pains. Put away the aspirin, put away the Tylenol, put away the ibuprofen, put away the Aleve. Just go with ReliefFactor.com. I'm babysitting tonight. I mean, I had 2 of them, and including the Buddha, a little 10-month-old Buddha. He doesn't move much, but he's heavy, and I'll be doing my lifting, but I'm not worried. Got my ReliefFactor.com. I might be doing bench presses with Buddha. Don't go anywhere in America except to 1-800, the number 4 in the word relief. Get the starter.
Especially when I'm tired on a Friday.
When you're tired, exactly.
I know. When I'm tired, it really comes out.
Very angry. Sometimes when you're very angry, you had R's.
Well, there's only one reason that I would ever be very angry, and that's because you try to purposely make me angry.
Exactly.
All right,
That's why you know when it happens.
I'm hosting, I'm the MC of the Fox News Patriot Awards last year, and I did a joke. And the joke is I can't keep up with all the added letters to LGBT, LBGTQ, LGBTQ+, LGBTQ plus I and A. And yesterday you had to send me what the I and the A meant. And I'm like, okay, why don't we just do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. I said that on stage as a joke. Then you've got this Canadian MP saying, you know, giving a new list that I've never heard of. Did you hear of this list? MMIWGTSLGBTQQIA+. Now, who the hell is supposed to remember that? Why don't we just say plus and end it there, and then everybody's included. Plus, everyone included. And never mind the golden rule, love God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and your neighbor as yourself. Why not go there? Anyway, just listen to this idiot.
When the budget was released, I was shocked to find out that Prime Minister Carney is cutting $7 billion between Indigenous Services Canada and Crown Indigenous Relations. They provide $0 to deal with the ongoing genocide of MMIWGTSLGBTQIA+.
Oh my word. What was a joke by me is now a reality. How insane is this?
Honestly?
I mean, do they truly expect every person in their woke DEI crazy world to understand what those letters mean and to remember
First of all, they're like 0.4% of the population. I could give a rip less. Second of all, if they're not willing to address the amount of attacks happening by their own Alphabet City people, then I don't really give a rip about that either. Stop talking about how you need money to talk about who you want to sleep with and how you want to dress. Nobody cares. Go do what you want to do. Go get a job. Go live your life the way you have decided to live it. Why do we need to allocate funds to you? I'm so sick and tired of seeing a guy in a tutu trying to use the bathroom next to me and my daughter, and I'm so supposed to be okay with it. Oh, and on top of it, I got to use taxpayer dollars to make you feel okay about the fact that you're wearing a tutu? Nobody cares. Move on.
love God with all your heart, mind, body, and soul, and your neighbor as yourself, except don't follow the Linda Bible. What does Ethan call it? He actually has a name for it, which is, it's okay. What is it called?
Jason's saying it to me, Lindarian.
The Lindarian version. Forget the King James version. Go with the Lindarian version, which allows people
I
to
think
circumvent
most people would agree with me on
the
this.
words of Jesus. Forgive us as we forgive others. Forgive those.
I'm not forgiving the guy in the tutu in the stall next to me. Sorry, not a thing. Not doing it. He's standing up, I'm sitting down. I got a problem with that. Get out of the bathroom. Stop asking for money. You want to dress up? You want to be something?
Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those that trespass against us. What's so hard?
Ask your audience, see if they agree.
No calls on this. I don't want to deal with it. All right, let's get to Rick in the free state of Florida, my free state. What's up, Rick? How are you? Happy Friday, sir.
Happy Friday to you. Thank you for taking my call, and thank you for everything you do. You really need to get Linda on TV one of these days. But
I need to get Linda on what?
On a TV show one of these days.
I think Linda on the pod one day may work out. I think we could make that happen. That'll be interesting.
So, yeah. My thought is that, the behavior of NATO kind of militates for the United States to take Greenland. At the end of the day, like it or not, the U.S. is an empire in the vein of historical empires, and it needs to be able to project force. And to the extent that NATO, the deal that, the United States protects in exchange, at the very least, for the ability to project force, at the very least, for logistical support for whatever it may need, and that's being denied, there really need to rethink the force projection mechanism that the U.S. employs, including rebasing from Spain to Malta, maybe taking over Greenland and other aspects of the geography, of the global geography.
When this conflict is over, I can say with a pretty high degree of certainty there's going to be a reconfiguration of NATO as it's currently formed. And I frankly want no part of Spain. I want no part of France. I want no part of Great Britain. Italy to be determined. The Eastern Bloc countries like Poland are far more reliable. We'll see where the Germans, fall in all of this. They need us. We don't need them. We pay the bulk of monies to protect them. Their conduct has been atrocious, and I know President Trump well enough to know that he's not finished with this whole issue. We'll see. We're going to watch. 941-SEAN is our number if you want to be a part of the program. Listen, all of you need a home security system. You want one that is proactive.
Quote, Virginia is not a sanctuary state. Full stop. There's a lot of misinformation out there. Certainly everything that you read on Twitter is not real, but it's actually pretty outrageous, some of the things that have been reported along the way. Okay, that may be true, but if you cut off cooperation between local law enforcement and federal authorities like ICE, isn't it basically essentially the same thing?
Well, good afternoon, John. The answer is yes. Abigail Spanberger has ran as a centrist, ran as a moderate. She went hard left as soon as she was sworn in January, and immediately revoked all sorts of Glenn Youngkin's policies having to do with cooperation between Department of Homeland Security, ICE, and Commonwealth Attorney. Now, Mr. Descano is making his own decisions in Fairfax County, and he's a radical. He came out of the President Obama's Department of Justice. He went to West Point. He had a very nice-looking resume. He was a federal prosecutor, but he is a hard left person in the mold of Chesa Boudin, who got recalled in San Francisco, George Castone in Los Angeles, Larry Krasner in Philadelphia. They rise up in people's awareness. Fairfax County, where you live, where I used to live, it just has gone out of control with violent crime done by illegal migrants. Now, DHS would like Mr. Descano to please let them know is adult. He's been charged in juvenile court, but he's an adult. When he is going to be released, he's not been released by the judge. She denied his request for bail, even though Toscano wanted him to get bail. He'll let us know. We will take care of him. He'll go back to El Salvador. I can't believe that Toscano won't, because it's another situation of a pot that will eventually boil over into more extraordinary violence beyond the 12 victims, 9 of whom saw their allegations held up in court. He was convicted on 9 counts of battery, assault and battery.
Yeah, so in response to what Abigail Spanberger said about, sanctuary state versus non-cooperation with federal officials, Tom Homan said this morning, if she doesn't want to play ball, it's fine with me. I got my own cards to play. Listen to what he said.